read several books for this vlog. I started My December Darling on my Kindle because that's one of my book club picks for the month, and it's by Lauren Asher. Just a little Christmas novella that takes place in Lake Wisteria, which is where her other series takes place, or her most current series takes place. It's about Luke and Catalina, who her sister is getting married, is having a Winter Wonderland wedding. She is here for the month. She's normally a traveling nurse, and she is only in town for the holidays, and her sister is actually marrying her ex-boyfriend, but it's like not, like they weren't really together seriously, but anyway, no bad blood there. But she can't stand her sister's fiance's best friend. For some reason, there's just some hatred there, kind of enemies to lovers, and she is the maid of honor and the best friend is the best man, so they kind of have to work together to make sure that this wedding goes very smoothly. And they both have crushes on each other, but then like outwardly they just act like they hate each other. Luke is trying to prove to her that like, I'm not that bad, like why do you hate me? And it's kind of trying to get her to go on a date with him, and she's trying to convince herself that she can't have a relationship because she's a traveling nurse and she doesn't have time for that. So that's basically the gist of it. It's only 243 pages, so it's a very quick one. I feel like I could totally binge this in one day if I just sit on the couch, put on a Christmas film, and read it. I'm 21 pages in, so definitely a fast-paced read. And then I was going to simultaneously read this one. This is A Season for Second Chances by Jenna Bayliss. I just thought this cover, look at this cover, it's so pretty. But I have heard that this one's a good like seasonal transition book. Christmas is approaching, but it doesn't necessarily take place exclusively during Christmas. So I think this probably would have been better to read like towards the end of November, but I just wasn't in the holiday mood. So I kind of want to read this one first before all my other Christmas books. So I'm going to keep this one out, like definitely, but my book of the month came in today. So I kind of like put everything down, and I want to get through this one because it's a very short book. Well, it's almost 300 pages. It's 293 pages, but the chapters are very short, and it's basically like a rom-com thriller, which I think two very good genres to binge. So this one is described as a Knives Out gets a rom-com twist in this rivals to lovers Christmas romance mystery. So I feel like that's very fun. I actually started listening to it on audio because I've been working on like my reading journal and stuff, but yeah, I haven't really gotten too far in. I'm only 5 chapters in, so I don't really know too much about what's happening, but they're basically rivals. So, and they're both trying to solve this like little mystery whodunit situation. So I think I'm gonna keep listening to this one on audio and also, I don't know, read these simultaneously. So we'll see how far we get into either one of these, which one I continue, and then I'll let you guys know when I have any updates.
It's your fetish.
December Darling on my Kindle last night, and I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like sometimes novellas can be hard to get into and relate to the characters, but I think because of the length of it, it was a little bit longer than a normal novella. I had enough time to really get to know the characters, and I think the romance was very sweet. I think I gave it 3 stars, 3.5 maybe. And now I am starting a season for Second Chances. And this one is basically about the main character, Annie, who is, her kids are grown up and out of the house. Her 26-year marriage is over. So she found this house that needs a guardian for the winter because this older lady owns it. And it's kind of secluded, so she ends up doing that, and the nephew of the lady that owns it is trying to get his aunt to sell the place. So I think they kind of have a little moment there, I guess, with him trying to sell and her probably trying to keep the place. I haven't really gotten that far. I'm only 70 pages in, and they haven't interacted yet. So she just literally moved into the house, but it's giving good cozy winter vibes, which is what we want. So we're just gonna keep on reading. Okay, it's been a couple days since I've read anything. I haven't really gotten in much further in a season for Second Chances, but I plan to just try and binge it all tonight while I watch Christmas movies. So that's the plan. I do have a lot of editing to catch up on and other filming things, so I want to try to finish this tonight, and I do want to include one more holiday book in this vlog, so we'll try to finish this one and then pick out our next one. But like I said in the last clip, I'm still enjoying it. It's a fast-paced romance, which I feel like I needed, so I'll come back when I have some more thoughts. It's the next morning. I finished a season for Second Chances last night, and I have some thoughts. So let me get out my notes. I'm actually waiting to get my hair cut soon, so I'm in the parking lot at Ulta right now. But first off, this book, I'm not really sure what it's aimed to be, if it's supposed to be a romance or just a literary fiction. I bought it in the Christmas section, and it looks like it would be a romance, and I feel like the back of it, the summary on the back kind of leads you to believe that, but there was the romance in here was, you were literally just given crumbs. It was very strange, but 100 pages in, and I was thinking that it was reading more like a literary fiction, like a women's literary fiction. Yeah, I was under the impression that it was going to be more of a romance, but there was barely any. 159 pages in, she had gone on one date with the window cleaner at this house that she's babysitting, and they decided that there's no spark and they're just going to be friends. okay, whatever. There's still no sign of John Granger, who is supposed to be the nephew of the woman that owns the house that she's babysitting, and he wants to sell the house, and everyone in the town is against that. But he still has not made an appearance, and we're like about halfway into the book, and there's still no sign of him. It's literally just her hosting a book club at the house in the tea room and setting up a coffee shop. That's literally the whole story. That's really it. Also, her ex-husband being annoying and trying to make her feel bad for him, even though he's the one that's been cheating for years. Anyway, they finally meet around page 180, and he's kind of rude. They have like several interactions over like, he's like, oh, I want to apologize about how I behaved the other day. It wasn't a good like way to meet. And then he's like rude 5 seconds later again. And then he keeps having to apologize for being rude. I'm like, well, how about you just don't be rude? It's not that hard, especially to a person that you don't know and who is taking very good care of your old small town and your aunt's precious house. So that just annoyed me. And this is kind of like, it has nothing to do with the book, but when I bought it, the worker told me that that someone had told her that it was super spicy, and there was no spice in this at all. Not that I wanted it. I'm just always mentally preparing myself for that. Like, I don't look for that in books. But, you know, it's hard to escape it. So I was really expecting, because of that, maybe that's why I assumed that it was more of a romance than a literary fiction, because someone had described it to me as being spicy. So I was, like, worried. I was like, okay. But no. There was, like, maybe talk of it, but because there was no romance, there was no spice. In the last 20 pages, there's still barely any, like, romantic connection between them. I don't see it personally because I feel like it's very forced, because she spent the whole book opening up this coffee shop and dealing with her ex-husband. So the last 20 pages, something big happens, and I feel like it's just to add something that's high stakes to the plot, because the entire book has just been very low-key and, like, barely anything. And I also don't understand, this book was 429 pages. Why was it that long? I don't know. I think you could have cut, like, 200 pages out of that. There were so many scenes of her hosting the book club and serving coffee that I was just like, what's the reason of this? Like, there's nothing wrong with books that are just cozy vibes. Like, I feel like it would have been great if I didn't go into it expecting more, like, from the romance. So if I went into it knowing it was just going to be a cozy read, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because I was expecting more of a story in the romance and between the characters, that's why I think I didn't enjoy it as much. But anyway, the thing that happened that's, like, super big seemed very unnecessary. It did nothing for the plot at all. Also, Annie, the main character, she does something very unhinged, I think, for a 44-year-old woman. She kind of acted, I feel like it was very immature and just, I don't know, it just made me feel weird. I don't know, I thought it was weird, but whatever. Maybe someone would actually do that, I don't know. And then the last page, the two characters finally, they profess their love for each other, and I'm like, where did this love come from? And Annie's like, I'm in love with you even though I don't even know you. Yeah, you don't know him. Like, I just don't get where the romance came from. And then for them to say that on literally the last page, for them to say, oh, I am interested in you. Why couldn't we said this, like, 100 pages ago? Like, because you barely see them together romantically. It's just him being rude and annoying, and then her hosting the book club and dealing with her ex-husband being a jerk. Have decided to give this a 2.25. I feel like some of the elements of it could be more than a 2-star, but it just was not my favorite. It's definitely not a 3-star, so I want to give it more than a 2, so I settled on 2.25. But that was kind of like a letdown of a book. I think it's a good, like, don't go into it expecting romance. If you want, like, a cozy winter read, then it'd be great. And I feel like the characters don't grow or like there's no depth to them, I feel like. So it just was very frustrating to read. I'm picking up my last holiday book for this reading blog, and I decided to read Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is a Caravel holiday novella, and I thought this one would be like short and sweet. It's like 200-ish pages, so I thought I could start this while I wait for my hair appointment. That's really cute. This page says, like a little tag, and it says Happy Great Holiday from the library up. So like you could put your name in here. That's really cute. And there's like really cool artwork in here. And in the front of the book says brimming with advice guaranteed to change your love life. How not to lose the love of your life. Pandora Loveless. Okay. So I'm going to read this while I wait. My appointment's in 15 minutes. So we're going to start reading our last holiday book. As you can tell, I'm back home and I finished Spectacular. This one was a really fun little Christmassy novella. If you love Caravel, you would probably enjoy this one just to get in like the Christmassy spirit with your favorite fantasy characters. I think it was really fun and cute little, you get some magical elements from Legend himself, and you see the sisters, and just very festive. And the drawings in here are like so pretty. I've loved the illustrations. That's Donatella. So that was a fun, cute little read. So those are all of the holiday books that I'm going to be reading in this video. I'm going to go over all of them one more time. So I think I'm going to give this one probably just a 3-star. I feel like novellas are hard to rate because they're just not much happens in them, but I did enjoy this one. I think it's like a fun little read for the holiday times, and I feel like I don't really find like holiday novels or novellas in your favorite like other regular series, so I thought that was really fun. A season for second chances, like I said earlier, I did not enjoy this one as much, and I'm giving it a 2.25. I just think you cannot go into this wanting romance. It is just a regular fiction story. If you just want the cozy vibes, then you'll probably like it. I didn't have any clips really of the 2 audiobooks that I listened to because I listened to them on audio, and I mainly listen to them while I'm at work. So the first one is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. This one was a fun one. I never read like a romance mystery before, I don't think I have. I mean, I might have, but who knows. But I feel like this is the first one that I've read that's like that, and I thought that was very interesting. They're like at a palace, and she's basically trying to solve like a mystery of this old woman who disappears, who's a famous mystery writer. And she has to work with her rival, who also writes the same type of books as her, so I feel like that was really fun. And it also was very short, and the chapters were so fast-paced that it just felt like it flew by. It wasn't like dragging on or anything, so I think this is a fun little different Christmas read. And then the other audiobook I listened to was Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. They did this thing again, I think it's with Amazon, maybe, like Amazon Originals, I don't know, but they did this during Valentine's Day, the Meet Cute collection or something. I don't know if it was called that. I might be making that up, probably, but they did a winter one where like different romance authors wrote little novellas, but they're all kind of connected into this little series, but they're not like really connected. They're just part of this series for Amazon. So I read Ali Hazelwood's, and it actually was really good. I didn't like the one I read for Valentine's Day because I felt like it was like too short. It was like less than 100 pages and like hard to connect to the characters in the story. And it just kind of felt like you were like thrown into the story because you don't get any backstory or like anything or any development between the characters because it's a novella and it's so short. But the Ali Hazel one I think was like did it very well. Like you got to know the characters a little bit, you got a backstory of their history, and then you see them in the present time. And I feel like with their little issue, though, this one's about brother's best friend, and she goes over to her best friend's house to borrow a baking pan for her father, and the brother's the only one that's home, and you can tell that they've had a history by the way they interact with each other, but you don't know what it is yet. And there's like a snowstorm going on outside, so she ends up getting stuck there, and they have to like rehash like things that happened in the past, and you kind of get like glimpses of them growing up together and like him being her best friend's brother, and it's just really interesting, and I really did enjoy it. I don't think I'm going to give that one a rating just because it was so short and not a real, well, I don't want to say not real, but I feel like those are kind of hard. I'd probably just give it a 3-star. Novellas are hard to rate. And then the first book that I finished in this video was My December Darling. That's also a Christmas novella that takes place in the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, which I didn't realize until after I read it, but it takes place in that world. And I did enjoy this one. This one's a bit longer, a bit of a longer novella, which gave you more time to get to know the characters and their history, and it just made it more enjoyable. And I really like Lauren Asher's writing and her romances. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't know how much I said about it earlier, but that one was really good. Maybe 3.5 stars. I think it was like 270 pages, so I feel like it's more than just a novella. I don't know. Maybe that's why I feel like I could give it a rating, because I had so much more information from that one. But I had a fun time reading all of my holiday Christmas books with you guys. It's always so cozy to read them. I love reading seasonal books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next day of Bookmas. Bye!